1982's Trapped, aka Baker County, USA, was just one of many Deliverance knockoffs to appear in the late 70s and early 80s, and it's easily one of the most fun. The premise of Trapped is that a guy called Henry, played by Henry Silver of Alligator and Bronx Warriors 2 fame, is the mean-spirited patriarchal leader of a small town in rural Appalachia. There's one rule for Henry and one rule for everyone else. That's made clear very early on in the movie, because early on in the movie we see Henry sneak off into the woods for a roll in the hay with a young girl from town. Meanwhile, a local welfare official, I think he's a welfare official or something like that, comes into town and he's having an affair with Henry's wife. It's all very incestuous, if you'll pardon the pun. This is rural Appalachia after all. And Henry finds out about the welfare guy and his wife, and he literally tars and feathers and chases the hapless welfare official into the woods. So it seems that indeed the city slicker is the one in need of welfare in this movie. So the other townsfolk think that Henry's just chasing the guy out of town, of course, as he's done in the past, or allegedly done in the past. But Henry actually beats the guy to death out in the forest with a tree limb of all things. And that's it for the welfare guy. No more welfare guy. And no more welfare, presumably. But unfortunately for Henry, he's spotted doing the deed by a group of college kids who are out, I think they're out camping or visiting the area. And Henry will stop at nothing to prevent any witnesses to his crimes. His crimes that he feels fully entitled to do, of course. So that's the premise for Trapped from 1982, starring the late, great Henry Silver. Henry's in his element with this one, Henry Silver that is. He's chewing up the scenery and he's delivering unforgettable, larger-than-life dialogue at every turn. In fact, I reckon he's the main reason to watch this backwoods thriller, this Canadian Deliverance knockoff. There's nothing quite like hearing Henry Silver barking, "I get my rats," in another uneven southern drawl. Trapped is at heart a backwoods action exploitation film, but it does veer into horror with several scenes, especially the one involving the television antenna towards the end of the movie. That's quite gruesome indeed. And the film was shot in the late 70s under the working title Chatwell's Verdict, because Henry's surname's Chatwell, of course. But it wasn't released until 1982, giving it a bit of a distinct 1970s exploitation vibe, despite the 1980s release. And the screenplay was by the guy that wrote My Bloody Valentine, I believe, and Happy Birthday to Me. And I reckon that Trapped is probably my favourite Deliverance ripoff after 1977's Rituals. It'd make a good double bill with Rituals. If you haven't seen Rituals before, it's a good Deliverance ripoff, albeit quite a bit more mean-spirited than Trapped is. But nevertheless, it would make a great double bill with Trapped. So what else do I say about Trapped? It is all about Henry Silver, of course. Henry Silver's chewing up the scenery at every turn during Trapped. It is all about Henry Silver, just as it is all about Henry the character. And Henry the character is sort of a precursor, a pioneer of sorts for the whole sovereign citizen movement. As we all know, the sovereign citizen movement, individuals that are into that do seem to be entirely self-absorbed. It's never really about rights for everyone else. It's just about rights for them, and everything revolves around them. It's just another form of New Age narcissism, I guess, the whole sovereign citizen thing, unfortunately. But that's Trapped. So Henry Silver was the original exploitation, Deliverance, sovereign citizen. Every 3 seconds in the movie he's saying something like, "I got my rats," or basically virtue signalling about the law and all the rest of it, even though he breaks it every 3 seconds. He does tar and feather the guy that's sleeping with his wife, like literally 5 minutes after he was sleeping with some local lassie out in the woods. So hypocrisy is Henry's strong suit in this movie. And other movies Henry was in, of course, was Alligator, as I mentioned, and he was great in Escape from the Bronx and Mr. Scarface as well. Or maybe that was Jack Palance. I think it was Jack Palance, actually. But nevertheless, Trapped as well worth seeking out if you're after a good Deliverance knockoff from the 80s, a good Canadian Deliverance knockoff, and a good Canadian Deliverance knockoff, as I said, to make a good double bill with this one would be Rituals, starring Hal Holbrook and I believe David Gale from Reanimator. And that's about all I've got on Trapped. From 1982, starring Henry Silva. Good example of Canadian Deliverance exploitation. I hope you've enjoyed this upload. If you are enjoying the content and you'd like to know more, please like, share and subscribe. I normally try and upload fairly regularly as inspiration strikes. And be sure to check out Public Domania, where I present films that have lapsed into the public domain. That's a bit of fun. And please let me know how my YouTube driving's going by liking, sharing, subscribing and all that jazz. I'm off to enjoy the rest of my evening, and I hope you're off to enjoy the rest of yours, or your morning, or your afternoon, or your witching hour, or whenever you might be watching this. And I look forward to seeing you next time.